Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again talking about my Saltmarsh campaign. In this episode we will be discussing the importance of overtuning, undertuning, and balancing encounters, especially when some players aren't actually there. So, the adventure started off where we last left off. The bandits had been routed, and it ended with a peaceful conclusion of the bandits losing half of their weapons to the party, including a obsidian sword, which later on got sold for a decent chunk of gold. But the players found themselves in the Hool marshes hunting down the goblins that stole the caravan of pelts, only to find themselves face to face with not only 7 goblins, but 3 angry, hungry ogres. Now, granted, the players are level 3 and an ogre is a challenge rating 2 monster. I felt that 3 ogres would be a fair enough fight. However, I miscalculated. The cleric and bard were not a part of this group tonight. Neither could make it to tonight's session, so it was 4 level 3 characters against 3 challenge rating 2 monsters. This did not go well for the party, and they barely made it out with their lives. Fortunately, I decided to throw them a bone since technically the cleric and bard are still with the party, just kind of not with the party. I'm not going to grab everyone's player sheets at the end of the night and, I don't play as the player characters for them. However, I did allow them at the end of one round to use one of the bard's healing words to help get the main fighters back up to prevent a complete TPK off something they couldn't even control. Once they defeated the ogres, they proceeded back to the town of Saltmarsh, where they met up with the tanner, the leather worker, who gave them half off anything they wanted to buy from her. Unfortunately, most of the party does not need leather goods, but they now have access to the ability to sell the pelts and skins of exotic creatures. According to the Saltmarsh book itself, this isn't even me as the DM, if they successfully get the skin of a creature and sell it to the leather worker, she will pay them 100 gold per challenge rating of the monster. So, while they didn't actually gain any gold from this transaction, they did obtain a very lucrative way of obtaining some extra stuff. However, I don't think any of them are proficient in tannery or leatherworking tools, so we'll have to see how they figure out their way around that. Finally, after they told the guards about the demon problem up in the drowned forest, the guards let them know that if there is any more trouble in town or anything in the surrounding area, that they are on the list of people to inform. So the players have finally started making a name for themselves in Saltmarsh, and we'll see where that goes as I ended the session letting them know that they finally can have an audience with Gellin Primewater, one of the town council. Now, Gellin Primewater is not a bad guy, but not a good guy. He is in charge of smuggling, and he's definitely okay with slavery. He doesn't like getting his own hands dirty. However, I plan on playing him while he is an older gentleman. I plan on playing him in a bit of a young, peppy kind of tone. My goal is to do as best of an impression as I can of Mr. Fishodor from Bob's Burgers. I think an eccentric rich guy who has no moral qualms is a pretty decent fellow to have in a cast of characters. This is the first of the council they'll be meeting, so I'm interested to see if they mesh well with him, how well they will receive the opinions of other council members from this point on. For all I know, they might end up hating him, and then it'll be really easy for them to disagree with him. Right now, they don't know about any of the smuggling connected with him. However, while they were on their boat heading for Saltmarsh, they inadvertently found the healing potions among the deer urine that he was having smuggled into Saltmarsh. So I'm going to play with that. I'm going to see where that goes. It's going to be a little game of chess, and While my players are very clever, I would like to hope that maybe I'm just clever enough to, play around them. Anyways, the important thing to take away from this is even if you think you overtuned your fights, if you've maybe made things a little too powerful, don't give up on your players. It turned out that extra D4 of healing, it was not something they needed. The monk would have gotten back up on his next die roll, so there was no need for the healing, but they eventually did defeat the ogres, and that scared the goblins enough to get them to run away. Have faith in your players, they can surprise you. But that's pretty much all that happened in this session, so we'll finally start getting into the meat and potatoes of Saltmarsh in our next episode. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.